I'm Steve.
I'm Tom.
And this is Demagogue News with things you need to know about, Episode 7.
Don't call it a comeback. We covered Joe Biden's resurgence in Super Tuesday.
Who the hell actually is Elizabeth Warren?
And what's the deal with her? And your weekly update on coronavirus.
And Trump's greatest hits.
All right, let's dive right in.
Sorry. Damn it. Okay.
Yeah.
Who needs lungs? God,
Steven has coronavirus,
I'm dying.
case you didn't know. And I'm trying to get that firsthand virus. But anyway.
We'll bring it to you first. We're breaking the news on it. A local interview with the
firsthand accounts here. So, super exciting week in politics.
Oh, yes.
After his turnaround in South Carolina, Joe Biden mopped the floor with everyone else.
That's rough.
Yeah. That's a rough. But
Joe Biden did a lot better than anyone was expecting because previously all the Dems were sitting terrified in a room thinking their greatest fear was going to happen, but it didn't. And out of the 14 states, Joe won 12.
It's 10.
Joe won 10.
He's sick, folks. But Sanders got Vermont, California, Colorado,
and half of Texas.
Yeah, half of Texas and Utah.
Yeah.
And then Joe took the rest of them.
And yeah, he's 115 delegates ahead.
So Bernie closed in a little bit.
Yeah, California took forever.
Yeah.
An Iowa.
Yeah, they're still. I think they're actually still counting delegates from Colorado. So there's
Beautiful.
that.
But Bernie won Colorado pretty decisively, so those are probably going to Bernie.
Yeah. So right now, if anybody wants to keep score, Biden is in the lead with 664 delegates.
Oh, it's just 2 away.
Sanders is on his heels, right? With 573. Elizabeth Warren is in an extremely distant third at 64, and then Mike Bloomberg is in fourth with 61. We bid farewell to Bloomberg's presidential campaign. The most
2 days before it happened. Beautiful.
Yeah,
you were on point with that one.
Yeah, you heard it here first. So definitely the most expensive campaign in the race thus far.
And for like 3 months, he spent like $300 million.
Yeah.
$100 million a month. Probably raised $100,000.
I mean, he spent $500,000 altogether, which is ridiculous.
$500 million, you mean?
$500 million, you're right. $500,000, I'd be like, wow, this guy's a smart spender.
Yeah, efficient. Yeah, $500 million just to lose inside of 3 months.
Yeah, so again, like we were saying, his whole argument was, I'm the moderate guy, get behind me, everybody else drop out. And then when Joe Biden proved that he could do that, Bloomberg's argument just fell apart.
Yeah.
And
even though Biden has Alzheimer's, but I digress.
Yeah, right. He lost to essentially a plant, like a walking house plant.
A Venus flytrap. They're a little smarter.
I'm not going to give him too much credit. But, Bloomberg's strategy of entering debates two primaries before he was actually on the ballot.
So nobody knew what he was talking about.
Yeah. And then banking on Joe Biden to flop in South Carolina turned out to be an absolutely terrible idea.
That was also Tom Steyer's idea. Tom Steyer put a lot of money in South Carolina and then didn't. Well, he got third.
It wasn't it he paid some crazy $14,000 a vote or something like that.
Yeah, he spent like $100 million just in South Carolina.
Oh my God.
Yeah, got third, but you spend that kind of money, you need to get first. You got to get first.
At least get some delegates, guy.
Well, he did. He got no, he did.
No, he didn't.
He got 0.
He got 10% of the vote in South Carolina.
It doesn't count.
Beat him on the economy.
Yeah.
So
outspend the sons of bitches. That's how you do it.
So with that, both Bloomberg and Steyer have voiced support for Joe Biden,
as have Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg, and Elizabeth Warren, who's also dropped out of the race.
I don't think has she supported Biden. I don't think she's.
Yeah.
No way.
I just read an article on it that she dropped out, but I don't think she's gonna. You have this idea that she's gonna parlay vice president with Bernie.
Yeah. Also, she just wants to join the winning team. What a front runner.
Hey man, that's who the leadership looks like. That's leadership.
It does. Like, you even have Kamala Harris coming out in support of Biden. It's everybody who's not Bernie Sanders. They're screwing him out of the election again.
Revenge of the nerds, man. They're coming to get him. Yeah, Bernie the jock trying to make his way through.
Bernie, like, I'm trying to even picture that with like high tube socks.
5% of the basketball players are all black, and 40% of all the coaches are all white. It's terrible, terrible. Also, how's it going? I'm okay, because he's in high school.
But so Lizzie Warren, probably one of the most confusing presidential campaigns.
I mean, I guess it had some foundation to it. It wasn't that bad. You know, it's weird how it went how poorly so quickly.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the Hillary 2016 polls. You know, front runner I thought was silly, but 8 months ago people thought she was the number one bid.
yeah. Even
She was the secretariat. She was the front runner horse.
even October though, I would say it was even more of a like climactic fall than Hillary Clinton. At least going into the election, you thought Hillary Clinton was going to win the presidency in 2016.
I have a picture from the Washington Post that has a meter. I took a screen grab on November 8th, and it says 98.3% to Hillary Clinton
Holy.
and 1.7% to Trump. And I have it. I have it on the computer somewhere.
Did they delete it afterwards? Like
Yes.
burn the evidence?
Yes,
Oh, they did.
no,
Awesome.
I can only find it by other people who took their own pictures. It's not around anymore. Yeah, 98.3. Crazy. So they gave her like a 70% chance. Like she was definitely the easy bet.
Yeah. And there's a lot of reasons as to why that is. So earlier, I guess for a tad amount of background, Warren was actually a Republican for most of her life until the 90s.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. And it's funny because I think the reason she was in that was she voiced because of the markets, which
The markets of what, Massachusetts?
well, she's actually born in Oklahoma as Elizabeth Herring, but
And her last
she
name's Herring.
originally, she got married.
Oh,
Some point.
maiden name. That's marriage.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, don't get married, dear listeners. But anyway, she actually moved to Massachusetts to teach at Harvard in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So
Right. Yep.
that's why she eventually she was elected to the Senate in 2012. And she was kind of like she was actually going to run in 2016.
She was only in politics since 2012.
Yeah.
Huh. I thought she was around. She makes it sound like she's been around forever.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think that, right?
Like she's this institutional. I've seen it when I was working with Herbert Walker Bush. Like Jesus. 2012.
Yeah, only in 2012.
She looks like she's been around forever.
Oh boy.
2012.
Yeah, that's how you know she's all white, that aging. But anyway, so she was actually going to run for president in 2016, but then decided not to. Between her and Bernie, one of them wanted to carry the progressive banner. It turned out being Bernie, and that was actually kind of detrimental to her campaign this time around.
Right.
Like
For sure.
Yeah, so everybody saw it. It's almost like the Chinese communists when they were fighting the Japanese. Like everybody saw them fighting the battle. So all the progressives saw Bernie as their sort
savior.
of go-to. Yeah, he was their savior. He was their go-to guy. While Warren was just like, yes,
she was there.
Let them defeat him so that I may rise from his ashes.
Like the glorious Phoenix, like a glorious Pocahontas.
I can't call her that anymore because she's not Native American. I just call her Fairy Tale now because she lives in one. But anyway, so let's fast forward to October of 2020. Something kind of momentous happened where, speaking of the progressives, 3 very notable progressives in the House put their weight behind Bernie Sanders. And they were all women, so lack of female solidarity there, but it was 75% of the squad. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, and Ilhan Omar.
The squad. Yeah. It's a black chick. She's the other one. What's her name?
Ayanna Presley?
Ayanna Presley, that's what it is.
Yeah, so she, the last I guess she just decided to sit this one out.
Probably a smart move, to be honest.
It was, actually.
Just have your job and just shut up.
So if she wants to endorse Biden, nobody can call her a hypocrite.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
Except for, her fellow squad sisters. But, that's an issue for them, not for us.
AOC is about to be voted out this year.
Who is?
AOC is going to be voted out this year.
No way. I mean, I know she's being primaried, but do you honestly think, dude, she has too much star power? Like,
not only do I think it's not only that she's going to be voted out, but I was reading a couple articles that they might cut her district and might make her not have a district anymore.
Ooh, gerrymandering.
Yeah,
they'll
just redistrict her out and just cut every single piece into whatever's around her.
Oh,
and then
man.
District 8, whatever the hell her district is, just gonna be gone.
Oh, man. Politics is like Mean Girls more often than not.
Dude, it is. Gotta be part of the plastics. Shiesty. The bitches be ferocious.
So Lizzie Warren, man. So hey, like that's definitely that started the decline.
Yeah, when she didn't have the progressive vote in the House like she thought she did.
Yeah, like she thought she'd have like some decent support and then going off of that, the progressive support, to a lot of us paying attention to her, it almost sounded like she was stealing Bernie Sanders' platform.
You can't steal jokes, folks.
Yeah,
it's jokes.
It just comes off as kind of inauthentic, I guess.
Yeah, there is a thing because all of the if you looked at one of the Democratic primaries, they basically all say the same thing, except that they all say that they say a different thing, and that's important because they differentiate themselves from each other. And the number one rule is whoever says it first wins. And Bernie was winning this race 4 years ago because he said it first. So everyone that came to the party was already 3 years too late.
Yeah.
Because Bernie already said it all. And then after Trump gets elected, Bernie was still like campaigning and doing stuff. Like him in that social sphere, in the public eye, with the terms and the concepts, you can't say that you had that idea too now. Because now that's just Bernie's idea. So you agree with Bernie Sanders? No, because Bernie's a sexist. Oh, well, sorry.
Oh, yeah,
we'll
get to
that. Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, so differentiating. It's like she tried to, like you said, it's like she tried to be Bernie at the same time, but almost like take his thoughts, like his sort of utopian, message, and then apply it to reality. So she tried to explain a lot of the plans for, universal healthcare and student loan forgiveness, and it exposed more holes than it did give answers.
Them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
because in reality those things don't work. But
mer.
Oh, but she tried.
Yeah.
And now we didn't, let her win, so we're sexist and terrible.
Yeah, and speaking of sexist and terrible, what you were saying about calling Bernie a sexist, when things really started to go bad for Elizabeth Warren, it was to call she disclosed, quote unquote.
Disclosed, yes.
Yeah,
it wasn't in public.
In 2018, she and Bernie had a private conversation in which he expressed that he didn't think that a woman could win the presidency of the United States, which even people who don't support Bernie identity.
Bernie, write that down. Beautiful.
Yeah, he's always been this progressive dude. There's no way that he said that.
There are literally pictures of Bernie Sanders, one being arrested at a civil rights protest, and two walking with MLK. You can't. You can't.
Hey, maybe he was very against racism, but he was a sexist. Yeah.
There's probably a picture of him in the Rosa Parks too.
Like Susan B. Anthony. I mean, he's that old.
Yeah, he's got the reputation down pat.
Yeah.
He's not one of those guys.
So, and it definitely came off as weak. The voters definitely expressed that.
Yeah, by not voting for Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, first and foremost. They put their money where their mouth is, and it wasn't with her.
No. And then afterwards, obviously that didn't work. She decided, it's almost like she tried to put her eggs in two baskets. She started to backpedal and try to be moderate and at the same time progressive. She was saying, "Oh, I'm a capitalist to my bones."
Yeah. Yes. That she said that 30 times.
Yeah, in one of the debates to differentiate herself from Bernie. It's but I just think that in the markets,
it's a good impression, dude. That's such a good one.
There needs to be a safety net for American students. It was like, it's like, what do you even stand for?
That's everything is my platform. I'm that and this one. Shut up. Bernie's sexist. Don't look at him. I am every single political idea that you want me to be. Vote for me, please.
And that's just, it didn't.
Disingenuous is the word.
Yeah,
you can't run that.
Insanely disingenuous. So, and speaking of like being every stance, you could get that with Joe Biden. Joe Biden, you can pretty much just throw a stance onto him and he'll just take it. Like,
no, because Elizabeth Warren is every platform. Joe's just done everything. He's just done everything.
That's true. He has like loads of experience on everyone else.
Everything. Yeah, he's actually done every single bill that's ever been passed. He was actually the president in 2020.
President, my boss.
The last guy. Yeah, I did a lot with that. I was doing a whole ton.
Yeah, apparently Barack Obama just like chilled in the White House while Joe Biden ran everything.
Yeah, hilarious. Yeah, Joe Biden apparently has done every single political positive, nothing negative. He's never done anything wrong in his life.
No, never.
He's done every single positive thing in legal action that's ever been done in the last 40 years.
So yeah, you can stick with that. Like if you're a traditional Democrat, I guess you can stick with that. Or if you're like true blood progressive, you're obviously going to go with Bernie. So then
where does Elizabeth Warren fit? She doesn't go anywhere.
Obviously, she didn't have a niche because come Super Tuesday, she finished third in Massachusetts, the state that she represents.
That's a little rough. You can't win your own people. Little rough.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like a lot of people have cried sexism, but even like women elected Sanders and Biden. So
those are all TERFs.
TERFs?
They're all trans exclusionary radical feminists. That's a word.
Oh wow! You learn something new every day.
So they're not real progressives. They're actually just closeted conservatives.
Internalized the patriarchy.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Well,
can't help them.
Until there are more woke women, I guess
we'll never have a female president.
Yeah,
we can't have a gay president too. Apparently, we just threw that out the door. Actually, I don't understand why Pete quit so early.
Actually, I think it was smart.
You think just drop out of the race and not pull too many? Because now that Pete's going with Joe, think that his name on the ballot might pull too many delegates from Joe Biden?
I mean, yeah, like Buttigieg, I thought he was really smart for dropping out. Like he was doing well in the primaries, but as soon as South Carolina came out, Buttigieg realized that he didn't poll well with non-white voters, which Joe Biden does.
That's true. I don't know how Joe Biden polls with non-white voters.
I don't know. But he does.
He does. He does better than Bernie.
Yeah,
better than Bernie. I really don't I don't see it.
Yeah, like this dude is
the most establishment dude to ever be an establishment dude.
Platinum white hair. But anyway, yeah. So Buttigieg, I think we are definitely gonna. If there were to be he could even be Biden's VP. Like.
That'd be a smart move.
It would.
That wouldn't be a bad move at
definitely, all. I think Buttigieg is playing his cards right.
Maybe that's it.
And it looked like Warren was trying to do that with Bernie. I mean, in the debates, she was attacking Bloomberg, not Bernie, the guy who, like, let's be honest here. Warren voters and Bernie voters are basically
very
the
similar.
Same. Yeah,
very similar to Venn diagram overlap.
She wasn't going to pull any established, like, Bloomberg is preaching to centrist Democrats, and she obviously does not.
Very true. And the Bernie bros are loyal to the bone.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going anywhere.
They're Bernie or nothing.
Yeah. So she can't pull them.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen the last of Elizabeth Warren either.
She's an old man.
For the next election, she will be 74, so older than Trump is right now.
I don't know. I think that, I think you're correct on Buttigieg and Klobuchar, but... Yeah, Elizabeth Warren's old, man.
I mean, maybe she has enough fight left in her, but we might just see her as like kind of a lame duck senator.
Well, so just a senator then.
She'll be solid.
They don't do a lot anyways.
Yeah, it's nice to have.
It's a nice job. Let's be honest.
Elect us for Senate, please and thank you. But what are the I guess major issues that or topics that we're gonna see in the next debate because of the mass panic? Definitely coronavirus still in the news.
Healthcare. We need better healthcare. And on that, Bernie just went to a talking about the coronavirus, and his number one thing was that when the vaccine is created, it needs to be dispersed It's for everyone to have it for free. And he espoused that a lot. That was his number one talking point. We're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. We already do that with the normal flu virus. You can go to any Walgreens or CVS and it's free or like $5. So why wouldn't we do the same with the coronavirus?
The billionaires.
They're going to take over the world, the Denver airport, and the genocide, and they're going to keep the vaccine for themselves. Yeah. Healthcare is going to be the big one with the coronavirus.
Yeah, I mean,
And then, by a flip side, immigration. That's a big concern right now, especially, the conservatives can say that they're really been pushing that point for a while. Unvaccinated, undocumented immigrants could have diseases that they don't even know about. So we need to process them and make sure they don't come into the country.
It's actually kind of awesome that you mentioned that, because I actually read today that areas with, I guess, that are more anti-immigration also have a higher rate of infections. As in, I guess, human evolution, outsiders, they could be bringing diseases that you don't have an immunity for. So that being said, like, you might see this push people more towards Biden than Sanders.
Biden is a more he's secluded immigration policy.
Mainly because Sanders AOC will campaign for Sanders, and she is all about open borders. And she will say that even when the Sanders people are like, "Hey, could you shut the fuck up for 1 second here? Like,
not important, please.
Our program doesn't work if everybody can come in and get the benefits." So Biden, I think he'll probably be like very Obama-esque in his border strategy, and that could pull a lot of Democrats who are concerned about the coronavirus, especially if they're anti-vaxxers.
Well, if they're anti-vaxxers, they're fine. They just need essential oils.
And crystals.
Just get some frankincense. And get some lavender oil, and you mix it together, put a couple drops of rose water in it, and you drink it for 3 days.
Damn it.
Haven't you heard of that one?
I wish I worked at I wish I owned Bed Bath & Beyond. God damn it.
Yeah, just go to Whole Foods. Or trust me, my friend, she has a business called doTERRA. And she sells this as a business. Trust me, you can be in the business too.
But yeah, all you have to do is pay $5,000 and then recruit 15 people.
Right, and they need to pay $5,000. Yeah, so that's going to be definitely... Well, I actually need to take that, apparently, because I'm fucking dying over here. That's going to be a big topic on the next debate for sure. Now that the coronavirus is... Now, we have like 360 cases in the United States for the coronavirus.
That's actually 423. We've passed the 400 mark.
Yeah. Coronavirus, baby.
We can't let the other countries beat us.
No. And, it's nothing crazy's happened since last week.
Except for you can't buy toilet paper or water anywhere.
Well, you can, just not like good water. When I went shopping, my favorite water is Arrowhead. Judge me if you will. It's my favorite. Shut the fuck up. All they had was Nestle Pure Life. Boo. And it's like, that's like the other water. It's like, it's water, but like, I don't want it. And Costco. Costco's got lines out the wazoo.
Yeah, it's like, why do I even pay this membership?
Yeah.
Can't even buy water.
If everyone uses the membership at once, it's unusable? What? It's like a gym. So, that's going on. And also, 17 million people are under quarantine in Italy.
Yeah, that's wild.
The entirety of Milan is basically closed, which is the financial headquarters of all of Italy. And what I don't understand is that the big thing now is that a lot of cruise ships are coming down with coronavirus. Mm-hmm. And people are still going on cruises.
Well, because they're so cheap now. I mean, how can you
it's
resist
like $40.
those prices?
I know. Oh, you know, I was just looking it up that a flight to Beijing round trip is like $300.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, my last year when I went to Japan, round trips were $1,000 a pop.
Damn.
Now, and this was getting tickets for 3 days from now. This is not months in advance. Right now, you can get tickets, and they cost nothing at all.
Oh, boy.
Hey, you want to take a trip to Wuhan?
Yes.
Let's do it, bro.
I'm going to bolster my immunity.
Yeah, let's do a backpacking trip and, ruin the first world. Bring back some goodies with us.
Hopefully.
So, it's from what I've seen, there was a very informative video I watched a doctor who's also like a math professor. He
Mhm.
put it into a very, very clean graph onto the infection rate. And we are experiencing logarithmic growth. So I think the numbers was that the amount of new infections, that amount, let's say there's 100 infections today,
Mhm.
that number doubles every 7 days. So in 7 days, it'll be 200 new infections every single day. And that's been going since like January. So we're on an exponential curve going up.
Lovely.
And it's just spreading around. So logarithmically, if every single graph line is 10 times more, it's just a perfect straight up. We're just the slope y equals mx plus b. It's positive. It's going up, and people are obviously freaking out about it, buying toilet paper. I don't know why they're buying toilet
Probably
paper.
they don't want to leave their houses.
You can wipe your ass with your hands. We've been
They
doing
do
it
it
for
in
thousands
India,
of years.
and they're a great country.
God damn it, Tom. No, they're freaking out. I mean, the toilet paper economy will be fine, apparently. Charmin is not losing any money from this.
Yeah.
Invest in Charmin, folks.
Wish I would have.
Invest into Bounty. But what I don't see happening is the end of the world. It's not going to happen. We've had multiple outbreaks since the world was around. And even the very worst one, the Black Plague, killed a third of all Europe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, they didn't have sanitation or penicillin or a
Vaccines.
myriad of other things. And the Black Plague is still around. 10 people a year in the United States get the Black Plague.
That is wild.
But
Like,
10...
talk about kicking it old school.
Yeah, talk about that. Get some boobos on your body. But guess what? Smallpox not around. Polio not around. And smallpox used to kill 1 out of 5 children. Before everything else, like measles, mumps, rubella, every other flu, chickenpox. It was shitty to die. It's easy to die. That's why people had 12 kids and 3 survived if they were lucky.
We live in an unprecedented time as far as that.
Literally the healthiest time in the world. Trust me.
So, to top that, okay, we have 423 cases in the United States. 19 people have died, and they've all been over the age of 50 and in poor health. The first here in Clark County, we have
2, I believe.
Yeah, we have 2, and the first one was in a VA hospital from a guy who had been to Washington and Texas, 2 states with multiple infected people. Actually, Washington is leading the pack right now. If you're a competitive person,
was 80? Because California has 87.
They have 136 in Washington State. California is in a close second with 110 confirmed
110
cases.
now? Jesus.
Yeah.
Christ.
And New York is in a distant third with 40.
So if you don't live in very dense urban population centers like California, Seattle, New York, Chicago, you're probably fine.
Yeah. If you live in a town with 6,000 people, I highly doubt, unless you have tons of doctors from Wuhan there, that
or one of your friends is a billionaire traveler who loves going to really weird third world countries, you're fine. You're fine. And and right now the world markets are all collapsing. The Dow is down 2%, which is ginormous.
Yeah.
Every single stock, on CNN or somebody, they had a financial portion of the show, and they had a screen with all the squares of all the stocks, and they were all red, 2 green ones. Everything's going down because business is slowing down, not because it's the end of the world. When people can't work, the economy slows down. That doesn't mean that means that's not positive, but that doesn't mean that's not negative, because that means that in the future it will pick back up, and then business goes up again. Whoa, crazy concept.
Yeah, it's mainly just incited through panic, mass panic.
Which is kind of happening right now.
Yeah, but we assure you that it's not the end of the world and that there will be more episodes of Demagogue News, things you need to know.
And if we're wrong, that's some real shit luck. And if we are wrong, it really doesn't matter.
Then we all die anyway.
Yeah, it's like a bomb disposal guy. Either he's right or it doesn't matter anymore.
Jeez. So, speaking of not panicking, though, President Trump is classic, like, there's coronavirus. It's nothing. It's
Got my best guy on it. Don't worry about it. My good friend Mike. Love the cock and get the shotguns. He's gonna be on the National Coronavirus Task Force. He knows how to get sickness out of people. Trust me.
He's doing great. So in his reaction to Super Tuesday, he made fun of Joe Biden's multiple political gaffes. So we thought we'd kind of flip the script and do a greatest hits of Donald Trump's gaffes.
God knows the man has a lot. In fact, most people have a lot. And we're not just this shit talking on liberal show. We're the shit talking on everybody show. So what's your favorite terrible things that Trump has said or done, Tom?
Let's go back and forth here.
All right.
So I'd say mine is probably, I'll start with the oldest. On The View in 2006, if I have anybody who even listens to this who watched The View in 2006.
Hey, John McCain's daughter's on there.
Yeah, right?
It's
what
great.
a time it is to be alive. He said, I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her, which is wildly creepy. I mean, it's good to have an admiration for your daughter.
He's
but
trying to get the voter base in Alabama, Tom. That's what he's trying to do. Missouri, Georgia, Mississippi, Georgia. He's trying to get the Bible Belt.
He wasn't even running then. He was just saying it like, I'd probably date her.
He was sowing seeds.
Maybe he was advertising her. I don't know. That's a weird tactic. All right,
it's pretty bad. My favorite from back then, if I also go back, into the past, I think one of my favorites was his opening speech.
Oh,
his opening speech to when Donald Trump is officially running for president of the United States. He made a couple campaign promises. He made a couple exclamations, and one of the ones that started everything was when he assumed that they're bringing in the rapists, they're bringing in their drugs, they're bringing in not the best ones, but the worst ones, and I assume that some of them are good people.
So he saved himself.
Yeah, because I assume some of them are good people, but apparently everyone from Mexico is a piece of shit. And that was not the greatest leg to start a campaign with, but by God it was. And apparently it worked.
I mean, it's still quoted to this day.
Oh, absolutely.
He even actually said it when we were at the Trump rally.
Yes, he did.
So he hasn't rescinded on that at all.
No. He doubled down on it. He referenced his own statement from 2015.
Which was actually hilarious to watch.
Oh, God. I remember my face when he said that. I looked at you, and I just like, oh, my God. This man is a great comedian.
No,
See, Elizabeth wants to steal Bernie's jokes, but no one can steal Trump's joke if you're not Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
These aren't just statements. You have to live them. You have to be them. You have to embody whoever the person would say this would be with all confidence, because either you're Mr. Confident or you're the biggest piece of shit on the planet. But with enough confidence, through God, all things are possible. Okay.
Can you even imagine that? Like Elizabeth Warren, they're rapists. They're bringing drugs. Some I assume are good people. Like, oh man, that would be amazing. So I guess like another one that really comes to mind if we're talking about like Trump denigrating people was noted the journalist who covered him was giving him quote unquote fake news, but Serge Kovaleski, he has a joint disorder, and Trump said, "No, the poor guy. You got to see this guy." And he starts waving his hands. He says, "I don't remember what I said. I don't remember." And I was like, "This guy's a fuck."
So if you can't tell, he's referencing because the news are still running it. Honestly,
yeah, they are. They'll
when
run it in
Trump
2020.
made fun of a disabled person. Oh man, that was bad. That was bad. Now he wasn't referencing that the movements he was making.
Oh,
like
he
had
definitely
cerebral
was.
palsy.
Are you shitting me, dude? He had to have been. There's no way.
I don't know. I am still in the fact that that's not exactly what it was trying to go
I think
for.
he was.
I think it was bad in taste, and then it came off wrong. But God, that was like rough. That's rough. You can't say that. You can't like. if we want to talk about actual victimized classes of people,
Yeah, like disabled people,
the
like
actual disabled people,
like you're
you can't
actually
do
hitting
that.
a person when they're down.
yeah.
Like,
Just because they have Down syndrome doesn't mean they're down, Tom. That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough.
all right, you gonna one up me here?
What my I don't know. Can you really one up that one? I think a fan favorite, and it's definitely one of mine. Since Trump is very articulate. He's very well and oratorial with his words, especially when he uses Twitter. He made a wonderful spelling mistake, and I don't even remember what the rest of the tweet was. I don't think anybody remembers what the rest of the tweet was. But he says the strangest word that he's ever said, "Covfefe." And many times Trump has made up a word or said the wrong word. There's one time that he referenced Melania's Melanie, and that's easily chalked up to autocorrect. Like, Melania's not in any dictionary, but Melanie is. But Covfefe. And for weeks, the news were trying to, like, it was a secret code to, talk to a deep-rooted, secret agent somewhere of the code word.
Like he's speaking to QAnon or something.
Yeah,
like,
QAnon. Yeah, exactly.
And the coffee fee.
The Covfefe for everyone. Make Covfefe great again. Put it out on a hat.
Yeah, it was on everything, though. It was on magazines.
It was on everything because the guy said a not inane word. Joe Biden recently, he was at a little rally that he was doing, and he was referencing the Constitution. Okay. Have you seen this?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
Oh, it's amazing.
Joe Biden was referencing the Constitution, and he was going to say the statement that all people are equal to the eyes of God. That was the idea. And
very American message,
and he didn't say the word God because religion and
it's not cool to like God in that side.
The origination of our natural human rights, and then he has a fucking stroke in the middle, and he grasps for word, and you guys know the rest.
All men and women are created equal, and go by the thing.
Yeah, the rest of it, bro. You mean the most influential and inspirational document possibly ever created in the world? You can't misquote that. Amy Klobuchar forgot the Mexican president's name. That happens.
Okay, yeah.
It's whatever. The most
Declaration of Independence?
The most important document ever created. You can't, dude. No.
Oh, man. And then, saying, and now I was with the president, my boss.
Yeah, the last guy. We're talking about Trump, right?
He was talking about Obama.
No, we're doing our conversation.
Oh, yeah, we are. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we also said we don't make fun of disabled people. So, going on off of that, speaking of denigrating people, he's also been under fire a lot for his words on women. So, when he was running against Carly Fiorina back in 2015... Trump, he doesn't make fun of anyone based on appearance. But this one time he said, "Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that? Can you imagine that? The face of our next president?" just ragging on the way she looks.
Now, coming from a man to a woman, obviously that's sexist and terrible. But there's been worse said with the Democratic debates at this point now. I love how Trump has created this. The idea of mudslinging is the way business is done nowadays.
Oh, he set the tone.
Disgusting. Small lies, low energy. You guys gotta have a shtick. So communist, boring, Alzheimer's, and fake race. Yeah, not experienced. There you go. The Democrats are the same thing. Gotta have good nicknames. Gotta reduce the person down to one word that's negative. And Trump started it all, baby. He's the origin point. He's our messiah. My favorite Trump quote denigrating women.
That's a good way to start it off. Good opening.
In 2005, he was secretly recorded on a bus. And I'm sure no one has forgotten this because the women's marches specifically always wear pink hats in the shape of vaginas. But Trump was talking to, what was his name? Like Bill somebody or other, some like Hollywood guy,
Something
right?
like that.
Somebody that no one actually gives a fuck about, and he was remarking about how women treat him and how he can treat women, and at a certain level of fame, they let you do anything. You can even grab him by the pussy if you want to. You kiss him. It doesn't even matter what you do. It's too easy, and that didn't fly very well, to say the least. And it's amazing that didn't haunt and destroy the entire campaign. Honestly, a miracle.
Yeah,
That wasn't the one of many terrible things he said.
I mean, it certainly didn't help him in Nevada, though. I'm saying I was on the ground when the morning after,
Oh, that's right. Tom has been with multiple campaigns.
and Mitt Romney was there, who, obviously has
Not
bad
the most
blood.
Republican guy, yeah.
Bad blood between him and Trump. And, him, Crescent Hardy, Joe Heck, they were all basically disavowing, like, this isn't how we talk about our wives and our daughters. And do you want to know who got elected to office? Donald Trump. You want to know who didn't? Crescent Hardy or Joe Heck?
Or Mitt Romney.
Or Mitt Romney.
So, yeah. It's amazing. It must be like a quote from Socrates somewhere when it talks about oratory skills. But in The Art of the Deal, one of the greatest orators of our time, Donald Trump once wrote, or maybe someone else, I don't think he actually wrote that book, in a certain paragraph, in a certain blurb, he was talking about the news. And the book was written in the middle of the 80s. And he described what kind of news is good for you. And good news is obviously very good for you. And bad news is also very good for you. Not being in the news is what's bad. So it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you do something. And his entire campaign was revolved around that. He was on the air like at least twice as much as Hillary, at least, and blew every single Republican candidate out of the water when it came to airtime. And he didn't have to pay for it. That shit's expensive. Michael Bloomberg and Tom Steyer spent millions of dollars to be on the air. Trump got it for free.
Yeah.
That's what I call an amazing trade deal possibly in the history of ever.
Did he pimp the system?
And they let him.
See, that's
called being a businessman.
Yeah, he's the greatest businessman. I guess I'm still on the topic of denigrating people, so
it's something he loves to do.
Oh,
Let's be honest. He loved the shit out of him.
So he's even attacked fellow elected Republicans, including longstanding Senator, may he rest in peace, John McCain, saying he's not a war hero. He was a war hero because he was captured. I like people who weren't captured.
Yeah, he was what's it was CNN. He was on somebody.
Yeah, he actually said that at the Iowa Family Summit in 2015.
Oh man, I know it's on. That is a place to be.
Yeah, when you're. I like the guys.
Iowa.
I like the guys.
First of all, Iowa can be argued as the most important state because it shows who does or does not have a chance. The Iowa Family Summit, talking about families.
Imagine like your dad was a POW and he's saying, I like the guys who got away. John McCain was tortured for 5.5 years.
I listen to Jocko podcast a lot. You should listen to that as well. He's a former Navy SEAL. You're never an ex,
No.
And he's had multiple people on that were with John McCain in the Hanoi Hilton in Vietnam.
Really?
Oh yeah, amazing, just riveting. The shit they went through were crazy. And nah, fuck that guy. He got captured. I like my heroes who don't get captured. That's rough. It's amazing he got any of the military vote after that because John McCain did, I thought, a decent job campaigning in 2008.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy happened. Yeah, Sarah Palin, that was a rough, but whatever. And the senator of Arkansas.
Senator of what? Arkansas?
Who's the senator of Arkansas? Wasn't he?
Arizona.
And start with A. Same thing. No, not really much stuff to hate on him about.
No.
And now the possible candidate shits on one of the most well-known,
people of the
military
party,
military veteran and person of the party, talking shit about him. Beautiful. Beautiful. Speaking of talking shit on military leaders, I think one of my very favorite, and I'm sure you obviously remember it, for a couple month span in 2017, there were some issues with North Korea on their military nuclear missile weapon development. And personally, one of my friends was living in Japan at the time, and at one point in time, North Korea shot a missile like at Japan. It fell in the water, but they started testing testing missile sirens and all this crazy stuff. Like, things are getting a little spicy there. And what does Trump do to extend an olive branch of diplomacy? If that little rocket man dares to do something else, trust me, I have a button and it's bigger than his is. For like 3 months, he talked shit about the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, to his face. Like, it's on the internet, but to his face. Gave him a stupid nickname and laughed at him. If JFK did that to Khrushchev in 1961, do you think that the Cuban Missile Crisis would have gone well?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
This man is a communist.
Khrushchev, I liked Stalin more than you, Khrushchev. Like, hilarious. And then in the ultimate, table flip, Trump goes down there and becomes the first president since,
actually the first president ever to meet with.
Yeah, actually ever,
North
because
Korea.
North Korea is a new country since the 50s. He's the first president ever to go into North Korea.
Well, yeah.
Ever. Like, big brass balls right there, walks up to him, shakes his hand, and then goes back with him into the North Korean side of the DMZ. Now, that's fucking diplomacy right there.
Yeah, that's heavy redemption.
That's some heavy redemption. But that'd be pretty spicy. I believe the Doomsday Clock, this scientific graph on where the Earth is headed, clicked closer to midnight, closer than it has been since the Cuban Missile Crisis when that was happening. Because, that's not one way to do it.
Has it changed since then?
I think Greta Thunberg was able to con them to making it closer to midnight. So
yeah, she's check out episode 2.
We don't know who that is.
At least he redeemed himself in that one. I'd say my final greatest hit is one of his hardest to redeem, and I think it was personally the worst moment of his presidency. In 2017, there was a Unite the Right march of white supremacists in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Yes.
And in his own words, he said, "They didn't pull themselves down as neo-Nazis, and you had some very bad people in the group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides." And I'm sorry, but
you can't exonerate people that just did something real shitty.
Very hard to say that there are some really fine neo-Nazis out there. He tried to make the claim that a lot of people were protesting, like renaming Robert E. Lee Park and taking down a statue, but like everybody remembers it for like the Tiki Torch, like white dudes.
Yeah, Europa. Yeah, I think that was the name of the organization.
Was it? Oh
yeah,
boy,
it's rough.
Yeah, and for you not to when people are already calling you a racist, for you not to condemn like outright any of which he says that he condemns it in the speech, but he's not super apparent. And then people like Richard Spencer, like
when you are the president of the United States and it's been the day after and it's your time to talk about it, you can't fuck it up.
Yeah, there were counter protesters who were run over by a vehicle, and yeah, Trump didn't take the opportunity to unite the country.
Yeah, or put the hammer down.
Yeah,
officially stance is blank. Here it is. Yeah, he kind of let that one. Honestly, Trump did the diplomatic route. Offend no one, and by that, offend everyone.
Yeah, that's a rarity for him.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't. They had probably actually told him, like, hey, this is serious. Don't just go off the walls and read the teleprompter. And then some writer did not do his job correctly and just did a terrible essay, whatever, speech. That dude's probably fired for sure.
Oh, yeah, I would fire him.
Yeah, fire him in a heartbeat. And, whoever sits on the golden throne isn't really that always the smartest person in the world. But, he hasn't been doing too bad.
Nah, not in the least. Do you have any bonus tracks you want to add in there?
I mean, those are all part of mine. I don't know. I thought it was really strange that one of his the rallies in the campaign. And I remember in the beginning. Well, actually, never mind. Here's one. The rally, yeah, and it actually is the same. One of his campaign rallies, and as I die from coronavirus here, in 2016. In the beginning, he had a bunch of like 9-year-old girls dancing, doing cheerleader moves for him.
Oh boy.
And that was just kind of awkward, kind of weird way to start it. Is this like an 8th grade cheerleading performance for like a middle school? And then on that same campaign, he allowed David Duke to stand up on the stage and endorse him.
Shit.
And I have, now that I think about it, I think this is my absolute worst one. Who in their right mind would even allow David Duke to speak? Now, he's a reformed former, was it Great Dragon?
Grand Wizard?
Grand Wizard?
Yeah, the Ku Klux Klan.
Of the Ku Klux, you can't, like, Matt, stop. No, it doesn't work out that way. And they allowed him to speak and say great things about his favorite leader. Like, it'd be better if Putin said that he liked Donald Trump, which he did after Trump was elected. Putin made a speech about how excited he was, but not the former leader of the KKK.
And a guy who's still, even though he's done with the KKK,
wearing a supervillain outfit, wearing a big black cowboy hat and a black. It doesn't look. That was rough.
He's still all about like getting like an ethno state for whites and whatnot.
That's still rough.
Shit. Yeah, that's
rough.
Yeah, you can't have that guy.
You should have women, should have Mexicans, but when the leader of the super racist friends comes and you allow him to speak on one of your rallies, that's not a good look.
Yeah, and definitely watch out for these greatest hits on the Democratic presidential ads coming after June.
Excited for those.
Yeah, so buy our CDs at 1-800-GAFF.
There you go. Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's probably a phone number somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Don't actually call that. And please don't sue us if you own 1-800-GAFF.
We're sorry.
But anyway, though, tune into us next week to see who gains the edge in the ongoing Democratic primary. And if the Corona panic has taken all the toilet paper in a convenience store near you.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.